The entrepreneur's journey is not without its challenges. A lot of times those have to do with growing a business, money issues, expansion, taking things to that next level, and staying focused on the core aspect of the business. Success for many entrepreneurs does not come easy. However, they're really officially made it. You know, they seem like they've actually made it, but what you don't know is all of the challenges and struggles that they've actually went through to get there. Because once they've made it, all you know is, oh, they're an overnight success, or they were lucky, or they were in the right place at the right time. Little is heard of the struggles, the journey, the challenges, the wins and losses. And that's what today's show is all about. Talking about the journey of successful entrepreneurs and what they went through to get where they are today. You know, what have they learned from their journey, and the wisdom that they can impart upon you, the viewers, and also that they take into the next phase of their business so that you can get from where you are today to where you want to be in the future. And that's what today's show is all about. Now, I'd like to welcome you to the John A. McCabe Show. This is Accelerating Your Authority, and we're streaming live to Facebook, where they let just anyone with a camera, a mic, create their own show and name it after themselves. What can I say? And today's show is actually sponsored by our Authority Acceleration Coaching Program, where you too can be positioned as the authority in your field in 100 days or less. I also want to tell you that this is going to be an exciting episode because our guest today is none other than Keith Shannon. Keith's a business owner, podcast host, and he's an actual rock star. Keith is an inspirational entrepreneur who recently built a business that hit high six figures in only his second year and is now about to hit that seven-figure mark. He's about to break that $1 million mark. Now, how did he do it so quickly? Simple. He expertly positioned himself from the get-go, and he'll explain exactly how he did that in this episode. Now, one of the things I love about Keith is he's so high energy. The guy is always fun, and talking to him, I think you're really going to love this show. Now, when he's not making money as an entrepreneur, Keith rocks it out as Nikki Sixx in the Motley Crue tribute band Motley 2.0. Now, this guy lays carpet during the day and rocks hard at night. And in his spare time, he decided to become a best-selling author and launched two successful podcasts, Instant Authority Expert and Rock Nation, where yours truly was actually a guest on the Instant Authority Expert show. Recently, Keith was on a season of Love It or List It, filmed in Ontario. We'll get into that, all the events in Keith's journey that actually led him up to being part of that show. We're also going to ask the big question, why the hell did you start a podcasting show about instant authority when you're in the carpet business? Now, I originally met Keith in San Diego at an event, and I think it was a Publish and Profit event where we actually connected and we ended up joining the same mastermind group. Keith and I both value and understand the power of masterminds and the power of coaching and getting coached, help from people who have way more experience than we do in the areas that we actually want to go. So we can actually shorten our learning curve and get to where we want to go a lot faster. Now, Keith's a great guy and definitely someone that you can sit down and have a drink with, or in our case, we had several bottles of beer at the hotel bar one night with him and his wife, Michelle. So if you haven't done so already, share this video, leave a comment, leave a question for Keith. So just before I bring Keith on, what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick transition, and I'm actually going to play the intro to Keith's podcast where I was on the show. So let's roll through the transition and the intro.
Instant Authority Expert, episode number 53.
Hey, this is John Lee Dumas of Entrepreneur on Fire, and you are listening to Instant Authority Expert Podcast with Keith Shannon. Position yourself for success.
What does it take to become an expert? It takes motivation, stick-to-itiveness, and the right tools don't hurt either. Welcome to Instant Authority Expert, the podcast designed to help you position yourself for success. Here's your host, Keith Shannon. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Today on the show, we have none other than Mr. John McCabe, and today we're talking about real estate investing.
All right, welcome back. We're here with Keith Shannon, and welcome to the show, Keith. It's such an honor to have you.
What's going on, brother?
You see it, man. You see it. How's things in Ontario?
It's warm. It's good. It's still summer, so good times.
Excellent, excellent. Hey, so glad you can join us, and we got some entrepreneurs on the line right now. We've got some people watching live. I don't know if you've got the Facebook feed in front of you, but let's give a shout out to Heather Morrow, Jeff Gumpinger, Yale's on the line. Hey guys, how you guys doing? Please make sure that you love, share this video, and leave a comment or a question for Keith. But we're going to get into it here. And today's show is all about the entrepreneurial journey, and Keith has a great story from when he actually started into the entrepreneurship. I think it was 20 some years ago. He started into a different business than he's in right now. So Keith, why don't you just roll back a few years and let's get started into the first business you got into and sort of how that worked out, the challenges, the success, the challenges, the pitfalls, and how that sort of played out.
I was lucky when I was 14. I was instantly attracted to business, and I actually started inventing at a very young age. I just loved it. I actually at that time I knew I was going to be a rock star, and I was going to be a business success. And I knew it, man. It was going to happen. And then
like an
years
actual
later,
rock star, or just in your own mind?
Oh yeah. I moved to Hollywood, California at 21 years old. So.
Nice.
Yeah. So I definitely went to Los Angeles to try to be a rock star. But I was always interested in both. And I think that's a reason why I have the two podcasts, one business and one rock, because I really kind of find the two, they're really the same thing to me, business and being a rock star. Because to be a rock star sounds, it's rock star and business is business, but it's the same thing. Being a rock star is a business.
Yeah, it's all about, and it's also about promoting yourself and getting known, for people to like you, to know you, to trust you is what you do in business. But
sure.
Being a rock star, it's getting that attention and getting in front of the right people, which is really the same skill set.
It really is. I don't find any different between the two. When anyone asks me about business, they're like, how do you do this? I'm like, it's like a band. It's like you have the lead singer and you have the guitar player, and you have only one person can usually be the leader of the band. You can't have a bunch of people being the leader. You might get, an alpha and a beta.
Yeah.
That usually works really well in a band, but you can't have two alphas because they always break up.
No, for sure. So let's go way back to your very first business. I think it was a hair salon. So
it was.
So you're the owner of a hair salon. Take us through how you actually became the owner of a hair salon, and then sort of how that sort of all worked out.
Sure. So it was 2000. My girlfriend at the time was a hairdresser. I never did hair at all. But I was always interested in in business as a whole. So through my 20s, I would do I was installing carpet, for different places. That's what I started off when I was a kid. Just to, pay the bills. I was lucky that I became good at it. Yep. So I'd be laying carpet, and I'd go to a business, and I'd ask that business owner everything. I would just, I would talk to him and say, well, how do you do this? And how do you do that? And how do you own this business? It was fascinating to me, and I always wanted to know. Yep. So my girlfriend at the time was working as a hairdresser at this guy's salon. I can't remember the salon at the time, but it was a really nice salon, and he had done it all fancy. And it was really beautiful. And I said, his name was Anthony. And I said, Anthony, how much did you pay to get, to do all this work? He had the awesome lighting, and he had steel, and it was just beautiful. And he was like, well, about $80,000.
Wow.
And I was like, I can't do that. But he wasn't the greatest boss, and he was bouncing her check. So I think she had her check bounced 4 times in a row. It was 4 weeks in a row. And I was making some money laying carpet, and I always wanted to get into business. I'm like, why don't you quit there and we'll open a hair salon? And it was exactly like that. She was 23 at the time, so she was really young and didn't want to do it. And I was 26, 27 at the time and kind of ready to make a move. And I had the backing, I had the money. And so I said, well, let's just start looking for a spot to rent. And, when you start looking for a house to buy or a spot to rent, you will find it, and you will find it very quick. And I found the spot right away. 1 week, And then basically I, talked to the guy, leased it. I think it was $900 a month. And then I went in and I started renovating it, and I bought the chairs, and I got the contacts, and I got the sinks, and I opened Details Hair Salon with my girlfriend at the time in 2000, and with shoestring budget,
Yep.
didn't know anything about advertising, and just went for it. Really, that's the truth of it. I jumped in.
How did you start attracting clientele, and how long before the business actually was making some money?
Okay, so that's a really interesting question. So I had my girlfriend working for us at the time, and her best friend came on. So it was the two of them, and then I just made them go out in the street and hand out because they were really good looking,
Yeah,
or they're
always
girls,
helps.
right? And it's a little bit easier than me doing it, but I would do it as well. And I would have these little business cards, like your normal business card, and I would have them make up as $5 off with a 5 and a dollar sign through it. $5 off your next cut, or $10 off your next cut and color. And we would just hammer those out down the street. We were on a main street, so we weren't in a mall, so we would just hammer those out, and we would talk to everybody. And, and that grew over time. It was a little bit slow. I tried some of the, the envelope things where you stuff all the, where you pay. I forget what it's called.
Or whatever,
That's it. And that was, for a hair salon, value packs did not work for us. It was I think it was $2,000 for 1 month, and I think we maybe got 20 people through the door, so that didn't work too well for us.
No.
But, it was a slow start. We really would go to the clubs, and we were young enough, so we were hanging out at the bars and stuff. So we would hit the clubs, man, and we would hand these cards out to everybody. And, people started to come. But when I made the first big, really great move, it was probably accidental. I will not take claim for this, but someone had come into the salon. In the salon business, you can either have, an hourly wage person, or someone who already has a clientele and wants to leave their salon that they're at now, and they want to move to your salon because they're not happy with their boss, and they're not happy with, let's say, the percentage that they get.
That's right.
So I had someone come over that liked the new salon, because I had a New York City style looking salon, and they said, listen, would you, what kind of percentage do you want? I basically want to rent a chair. Yeah. And I said 40% was the going rate, because I was supplying the building, and I was supplying the chair and the electricity and the shampoo and the color, and I was supplying everything. And so I would get 60% of what they brought in. And the first person that came brought a full clientele. So basically, I wasn't really doing good, but then this person came in, and I just instantly got 60% of what they had spent years building. And then it was like, ting, I was like, okay.
I know overhead for them, basically whatever they bring in is just gravy for you, because you're already paying the overhead or covering the overhead with your existing employees. So bringing in people like that, the light bulb's going to go on. It's like, well, how many of those people can I actually attract?
Yeah, it's the best way to do it. So I went about, I came up with a thing called a signing bonus, because a lot of people don't like to leave their job. They're they're scared, right? Because they're doing fine here and they don't want to come over here. So I come up with a thing of a signing bonus, and it was $1,000. I'm going to pay, here's $1,000 signing bonus. Or a trip or whatever to come and join my salon. And I had 3 people come instantly, all giving me 60%. So the first year of having my salon, I had $31,000 in the bank, a brand new 2000 Mustang. And I was feeling no pain, and I thought I was the king. I thought I was the king of the world, baby.
Yep. Things are never going to go bad.
They're never going to go bad. It's like, you know what? I'm going to become bigger. I'm just going to do this and do this and do this. This is brilliant.
So did you continue on with the carpet laying still?
I was still laying carpet because I was making good money, and I was working at a place, and my girlfriend at the time was running the salon. So it was basically, I didn't have to do anything except, I was the maintenance guy, really. I paid the bills and did the maintenance, and a hair salon runs itself kind of, if you have, people that have their own clientele, because they cash the clients out, they bring the clients in, they take the phone calls when their clients come, and the girls and the guys that work there would all, participate in taking the phone or rolling the towel. So it was a really good, tight-knit unit. And I can say the first year of that salon, I really struck gold, and it was an amazing time.
All right. So obviously you don't have the salon today. So at what point in time did things start to go south?
about after the first year. So, yeah. So what I learned, and I still kind of employ, so that was 15 years ago when I opened the salon, 2000. So 15, 16 now. So I still employ that $1,000 signing bonus today in the carpet business, or a $500 signing bonus, or a present, or something, just an incentive, because it's nice to treat your people right. But let's go back. We'll go back to 2000. So I had $31,000 in the bank, a brand new 2000 Mustang. I had just bought my first house. Things were going good. I was making, maybe 60, 70, 80 grand as a carpet installer, plus the salon was I just had the money in the bank. It was just a perfect thing, right? I just thought $31,000 a year, awesome. But I started getting back into business stuff maybe 2001, 2002-ish, and learning how to grow my business. Now I had something that was working, I better learn how to grow it. So I started, studying this guy, and I started studying this guy, and more in the hair salon field, not just like Anthony Robbins or Jay Abraham, but stuff like, people that had written courses in the hair salon business. Okay. And I employed a couple of those tactics, and they were a little bit strong-armed. They were a little bit hard on my employees. So one of the tactics to make more money in a salon is you have to, if you're doing as much hair as you can, you are doing as much color as you can, so you're maxed out there. The only next step is to sell product. I mean, that's it in a salon. Yeah. So what I tried to employ was selling more product. And so I would stack the shelves with product, and I would have meetings every Saturday and say, listen, we've got to, sell more product, and this is how you do it. So at the end of somebody getting their hair done, while they're getting their hair done, you talk about, hairspray and conditioner. Yeah. First one's shampoo and conditioner and blah, 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 and all that stuff. And then when you take them to checkout, you bring all 5 products, shampoo, conditioner, hairspray, some kind of gel. So you get like 5 products, you bring them to the counter. No one's going to usually buy all 5, but they usually will buy 1 or 2. Yeah. What happened is I kind of strong-armed that tactic on people who had brought their own clientele over and didn't have to do this stuff. They weren't my employees. They were subcontracting, self-employed people who now their new boss, who was great last year, is now strong-arming them into selling product to make more money for all of us. But what I didn't realize, I was pretty young at the time, that I didn't think anyone would leave, and I thought the salon would just get bigger and bigger and bigger. And what happens when you're not good to your employees, or you're kind of pushing stuff on people, I had a walkout. Everybody walked out on me. And I was, all of a sudden I had like 5 full-time people bringing in 60%. And then they all behind my back walked out. One went and opened their own salon. Another went and opened their own salon. And another one went and worked for one of those people that opened their own salon. And basically, I had a walkout. It wasn't that I lost a ton of money. It didn't make me go under. But what it did was it really I never regained that status again. I never got the salon back up to that 60%, 5 people just bringing in money. So that lesson that's a huge lesson that I still remember to this day. And I'll never forget how I felt when they just kind of, they were done.
When you have employees, I mean, your employee has to be number one, even above your actual client. You have to treat your employees so well that they'll stick with you through thick and thin, that they're going to be dedicated to you and not want to walk out on you or whatever. So keeping employees happy is crucial in today's sort of environment where people are so transient when it comes to jobs. Even professionals are transient when it comes to jobs. So you had that challenge. Did you recover from that, or was that it?
I went through a bunch of. That was only in like the 3rd year of owning my salon, I think. So I owned 3 salons at that time. So I opened my first one, and that one was doing really well. Yeah. So then I said, let's go bigger, and I spent more money, and I renovated another place, and I made a bigger place. But then everybody walked out, so now I had a big place with nobody in it. And then I decided, okay, I'm going to buy, because you're a real estate guy. Yeah. I always think that you should own your property, so that at least if you're not making any money, you're paying a mortgage. And at the end of your business, you own something. I really am I still do that to this day. I own the building that my business is in now. So I bought a building. I opened it up. I had 3 or 4 hairdressers. I had aesthetics, and I had tanning. And then basically I got a divorce. So ending my 10-year salon journey, and that salon went to my ex-girlfriend now. So now you find me 10 years putting into business. I mean, trying to learn everything I possibly could and going through those early struggles of making a ton of money, coming back down, and then growing back up and kind of realizing, and really now when you're a new business, sometimes when you're a new salon, it's easy to get people into your place because you're new. But as anything, it's like a new band. You're only new once. Yes. And then you're old and you better produce. You know what I mean? So
that's why a lot of nightclubs keep changing over their image every 2 or 3 years. You need a new image. You need something fresh, even though it's the same owners, the same actual building, but the interior changed, the philosophy's changed, the atmosphere's changed. It's just because they know they just have to keep reinventing themselves.
Hell yeah, definitely. So right, 10 years.
So you're done with the hair salon business. You're still doing carpet.
I was still laying carpet all those years. You know, I've been trying to get out of laying carpet for years. Divorced or common law separation.
At that point in time, were you just laying carpet for somebody else as a subcontractor, or did you actually have a building, an established place, or were you just doing it as a subcontractor?
I was just doing it so that I could do what I really wanted to do when I was playing in the band on the weekends, and we were traveling all over Canada and playing with Motley Crue and I was like, I'm gonna be a rock star at 38 years old. Yeah, baby.
Still living the dream.
Well, trying, never say never. So, and we did pretty good. We had a really good time. We played. We got a chance to play with Vince Neil. We were a Motley Crue tribute band. I had my own original stuff.
Nice.
I think the video on YouTube for us playing with Vince is somewhere around 60, 70,000 hits. So,
that's really
cool.
Good.
It was cool. But I was broke. I was broke. My divorce broke me.
Yeah, like mentally, physically, financially, or
not really mentally, but I had 4 properties. I had the salon, and then when you split everything up and you go through the lawyer stuff, and and you know what, you act different when you go through a divorce. You spend all your money. I bought a Hummer. You do stupid stuff, and I found myself in a real financial drop there. I wasn't laying a lot of carpet, so I wasn't making a lot of money.
Yep.
And I had $50,000 in RSPs, and I went through them in a year.
Wow.
I was not doing well. So one of my rental properties, I had fixed the basement up. I was pretty broke. I was almost like going to claim bankruptcy. So after 10 years of working really hard, I almost lost everything, and I figured, okay, I'm going to sell my main house. I kept my main house in my divorce, and I had a couple of rental properties that I kept through the divorce. And then in the basement of the one rental property, I turned it into I'm saying, okay, I'm going to sell my main house, take the equity out of that, and start over, right? I still had some equity, so I was okay, but I needed to make it liquid so that I was just paying too many bills. Yeah. And I was going to move into my basement of my rental property, and someone was living above me. And that was like pretty low. I had owned 4 or 5 houses. I had a pretty good salon, and I lost the salon building, and I had to reinvent myself. I had no money, and I was going to move with Michelle. Actually, Michelle was we were dating, and Michelle was going to move into the rental property basement with me.
Okay.
And that was 2010, summer of 2010.
Okay. If you guys are just joining us, I'm live with Keith Shannon, the rock and roll entrepreneur. And we're talking about his journey during his entrepreneurship, his struggles, his challenges. We just spent the last 10 years. We just talked about the last 10 years where he grew a successful business, had some struggles where he almost lost it, grew it back up again, but then ended up losing it in a divorce. And now he's sort of during that transition time, feeling depressed, not earning a lot of money because he was working with playing with the band and not laying as much carpet. So he's just moving into his new home, one of his rental properties, sort of downsizing, I guess is the best way to put it, Keith. You're just downsizing your life, getting rid of a lot of expenses and getting set for the next stage, right?
Just trying to get back to, sometimes to make money, you have to come from, you've got to reset. And I had talked to my uncle about it. I said, what do you think, man? I'm going to sell my house of 10 years and start over. He goes, hey, you know what? It's not a bad idea. He goes, you'll get it back together in a year. He said, downsize, get your shit together, get your mind together, and refocus and think what you're going to do. It's hard. I had a salon for 10 years. I was pretty focused on that's what I was going to do. I was going to run a salon, and I didn't have to wear tradesman clothes. I get to dress nice, wear a tie, wear a shirt, walk around, talk to the girls. I mean, it was a pretty easy gig, and I liked it. It felt, to be a trades guy all my life, it was nice to kind of walk around and be a little swanky. It felt good. And now here I am, 40 years old, lost everything I worked for in the last 10 years, and now I got to start over, basically in the basement of my rental property.
So what was it? What was it that changed your mindset? Like, how did you? Because that's a sort of people can get lost in that sort of depressionary state. So what was it that actually turned the switch on in your head that made you say, okay, well, enough's enough. I need to get my shit together, to make something happen. Here's what I'm going to do. Here's a business I'm going to build. Here's what I'm going to grow. And here's sort of my plan.
Okay, so back in 2001, I had dabbled in my own carpet business while I got the salon up and running, and I dabbled in opening my own carpet show. I figured if I could open up a salon, I can open up a carpet store.
Right.
But opening up a carpet store is a whole nother, like running the salon and then opening a carpet store. I opened the carpet store in 2001 called Direct Carpet, and I was on the road selling the carpet. Then during the day, I was installing the carpet. And then I'd come home and then sell the carpet. And then I'd get up, get home 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, and then get up in the next day and install that carpet and then go out and sell. And that went on for about 3, 4, 5 months. And I just got totally burned out.
Yeah, I can see that.
I was so burned out that I gave it up. I couldn't do it. And I went back and laid carpet for someone else. Okay. And for years, as I was running the salon, in the back of my head, I was like, you're a failure. You couldn't get your own carpet store going. Right. And that haunted me for 10, 12 years. And so after I'd lost the salon, it's about 2011, I was working for another company, and the bosses there were just ridiculous. I mean, I hate a boss. I mean, I hate a boss. I do. I don't like to take nothing from nobody. Yeah, I'm just one of those A-type personalities. It's like, I know how to do it better than you, and you've never even laid carpet. So what are you telling me how to do this for? So that was it. I struck up started thinking about talking with Michelle about it, about opening this carpet store again. But all this weight of the failure of 2001 with the carpet store really weighed heavy on me. I'm like, I don't know if I could do it. I think I thought about that since 2001. I don't know if I can do it in 2002, in 2003, open a carpet store. I don't think I can do it again. And this plagued me for years and years and years. I mean, it haunted me, man.
Yeah, and the weight. Self-doubt will do that to you.
If you couldn't do it when you're 31, how are you going to do it when you're 41? How are you going to do it? Yeah. And you know what? I just hunkered down. I started in 2001 when I started the carpet company. I wasn't making the right connections. I mean, I was buying my carpet from a wholesaler rather than the manufacturer. So I was paying a little bit more money, because in order to buy carpet from a manufacturer, you have to have a storefront. That's just the way they do it, and they do that with most things. You can't, sell out of your garage. And basically, what I did was, I made a couple of decisions. I said, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna try this. I'm at the end. I've lost my salon. I've got no money. I'm moving into my rental property. I mean, what have I got to lose? I'm like, okay, Keith, that means you're gonna sell at night, and you're gonna install during the day, and you're gonna do it, and you're gonna do it, and you're gonna do it, and then you're gonna do it again. And when you get tired, you're gonna do it again. I said, you're 41 years old, and you cannot say no, and you cannot fail. And basically,
yeah, it's a consistent persistence with any business. It's all about consistent persistence. You just have to keep going, focus on today, do what needs to get done every single day. Yep. And all those little steps that you take, all those little actions are going to actually accumulate over time, and then you'll wake up somewhere and you'll actually be where you want to be.
It can happen. And how it happened for us was, I decided that I was going to do it. I made some contacts with, carpet manufacturers, right? And I didn't have a storefront, but I did have my rental property that I was moving into, the basement. And I said, to Michelle, I said, I wonder if I could pull this off and use the address for my rental property for my business. And I did. And I did, and I did, and I did, and I did. And I made all these connections and got to buy at wholesale price or manufacturer pricing. And I actually, and I started the carpet company out of my garage, where I would drive to, Toronto, pick up the carpet in the back of the van, and then pull it out of the back of the van because they were like, 1,000-pound rolls. Yeah. I would pull it out of the back of the van with my Hummer, because my Hummer's got these big hooks in the front, and I would drag it out and I would roll it up the driveway and then cockeye it into the garage. And I was cutting carpet on my driveway in the winter to do this. And I mean, I really fought. I fought. And basically, I would sell at night and I would install during the day. And they would say, who's coming to install? I said, I'm coming to install. So I had a personal connection with all these people. And I started advertising with AdWord, with Google AdWord.
Okay, so that's how you're getting your leads or your opportunities, was through online, people looking for or searching for specific keyword phrases online, carpet installers.
Carpet. Yeah, I had a couple of slogans, and I still do. Carpet installed, fully installed for $1.99 a square foot. Yeah, still works very well for us to this day. You can go online right now, any of you watching, and punch up, direct carpet, Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. I mean, it's all there. Yeah. But one thing that we did was, I had worked maybe the first 8 months. I had cutting carpet on the driveway and selling at night and installing during the day, and I saved all my money. So I had stayed in my house. I'd never sold my initial house. Okay. I saved all my money. I was really cheap. I mean, as cheap as I possibly could. That's back in the day. I think I was spending $75 a month on AdWords. Now I spend $750 sometimes, a week, no problem. I mean, boom, gone. But so Michelle had taken an interest, I think, to help me. And Michelle, you've met my wife. She's she's an amazing individual. I mean, I can't take credit for this business by myself. In the beginning, I started it. I fought through and I did it. But Michelle started maybe 9 months into it, and she started selling on the road, allowing me to install during the day and not have to come home and sell at night. Right. So that really, really helped me. And then she became really good at it. I mean, you shouldn't be talking to me. You should be really talking to her.
She's the one that sort of grew it to that next level.
She's the boss, man. She's the boss. I'm just speaking for her.
Yeah. Okay. So you did that, and you worked out of your home, and you grew the business. Michelle came on board, and she started as your new salesperson, and started selling better than you were. So you were spending your days. Yeah. Laying the carpet, she was selling the carpet, so it was a great team, great tandem.
Really good.
You guys were, things were rolling along quite well. Did you, at what point in time did you move out of your basement or move out of your home?
Out of the garage?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, what happened was I had actually bought a tow motor, a forklift, because I couldn't pull the carpet out of the van anymore with the Hummer. It just kind of got old. I was hurting my back. I mean, this is really, really 1,000-pound rolls. So I actually bought a forklift to lift the carpet up, and I was driving around my residential neighborhood, and my neighbors must have thought I was crazy. But I knew that I had spent a lot of money to open the salon, and I knew that this time I had to kind of go grassroots and do it as cheap as I possibly could to first see if it worked. Can I make this work? I'm not going to go spend, buy a tow motor, and a $30,000 tow motor, and a $100,000 place of business, and this, and a secretary, and all that. If you want to go broke, go that way. Yeah, exactly. I like to kind of go, does this work first? And can I make this work alone on a small scale? And then can we, amp it up and grow it and accelerate it? And so that first year was really all about that. But then one of the as I started getting bigger, I had worked for all these big companies around, Hamilton and Toronto. They started getting pissed off that I was, all of a sudden they see direct carpet. And I'm on City TV. We had got Michelle had got me some local TV time to talk about, on the morning show and stuff like that. You just call up the morning show and you say, listen, I got some ideas on carpet. Can you fit me in? A lot of times it's that easy. You just have to make the call, and you can get on your local TV morning show, and then you can become kind of the authority, because when people see you on TV, they start to go, oh, well, he's on TV. He must know what he's talking about.
Yeah, exactly. And, they don't just let anybody on TV. It's not like streaming through Facebook Live, where a mic and a camera, and you can name a show after yourself.
That's right. That's right. But you know what you're talking about. Come on now. So she had got me. Michelle was responsible for that. Got me on City TV, which is downtown Toronto, which is huge. I mean, it's the morning show in Toronto. So we had taken the video from that, and we had put it on our webpage. You know,
nice.
All of a sudden, people go over the webpage. They see direct carpet. They find us on Google AdWords. They go $1.99 a square foot for carpet. They click on it. They go to our webpage, and then they see, you know, all the pricing, and we make sure that we're very transparent. So the pricing's there, everything's there. And then they would see this little video, and there I pop up on City TV. Boom. So they go to all these other people. In 2011, 2010, 11, and 12, a lot of people were still not really working their websites. Sometimes even today, they're not working their websites.
True.
And we really worked the website, man. We built it ourselves, and we did drop and drag. We like those drop and drag sites. And then we put our video right at the top. So they click, comes up, video starts playing, and that kind of helped authority. And I was still selling at the time. So I would show up at someone's house. Let's say I set the appointment for 7 o'clock at night. I show up and knock on the door. I said, hi, Direct Carpet, I'm here. They're like, you're the guy on TV. And it was like, sold, no problem. And that authority really helps.
So
really,
just to touch on that a little bit, basically all Michelle did was actually call the TV station and said, hey, are you looking to do a segment on carpeting? More or less, that's all she did.
And she bought, she had a little if anyone knows Michelle, she was a nutritionist on that TV show.
She
knew who to call, who to talk to. But in this next part, we got on the next transition. So Michelle had come on more full-time selling, and I was installing. And then you asked about transitioning to a building, right, from my garage. We got threats from other carpet companies. They knew I was working out of my garage, and that my house, my rental property, was not a legitimate business site. Yeah. And they were calling up the manufacturers and saying, why are you selling to this guy? This guy's just a carpet installer, blah, blah, blah. He's used to work for us. And we got shut out of a couple of accounts. One big account from a big manufacturer that really stung me. And basically, I was like, okay, I haven't been paying rent. I've been working out of a garage, buying a couple of rolls of carpet at a time and selling them as I go. Yeah. I have to move up to the next level. It was a scary level. I went and started looking at rents, and they were like $2,000 a month. I'm like, that's $2,000 a month. Yeah. And so I did. I had to in order to stay with the manufacturer.
All right, so if you guys are just joining us, sorry to cut you off. I'm talking to Keith Shannon. We're talking about his entrepreneurial journey. Definitely like, share, comment on this. If you have any questions for Keith, put them in the monitoring the Facebook Live. Just leave your questions and comments for Keith. But definitely like and share this to all your friends on Facebook. Invite them over. Let's have a big party. Keith's used to that. He's used to rocking out to thousands of people at any given time. So having a few people on Facebook is no big deal for Keith. So as I mentioned, we're talking about Keith's journey, and he's just about to, I think, move into a new commercial space. Isn't that right, Keith?
That's right. So I looked around and I found a place that was suitable. I got a good deal. I think it might have been $1,500 a month, and I was like, okay, I can handle that. We're just gonna have to step it up. Just gotta install more. And I was the only installer at the time, and Michelle was selling. That means increasing the Google AdWords, which means more money there, and we just did. It was easier than I thought because I built the bank account up a little bit so that I don't know, we might have been sitting around $30,000 in the bank, like in the business bank account. Okay. So $1,200, $1,500 a month for rent was not going to kill us, and I had built the thing up within a year to know that we could afford our mortgage for our house. We could afford our trucks and our gas and when I had an employee, right? I had a helper, an assistant. I could afford to pay Michelle because she became an employee of the salon, or of the carpet business. And to tell you the truth, guys, I've never taken a paycheck. Still to this day, I have not taken a paycheck from my company. That was my big secret in the beginning. People said I was crazy. They said always pay yourself first, and I said no way. I'm going to keep building that bank account until I know I can take over the world. Because you need money to take over the world. or whatever business that you're trying to do. You need money is power. And so you start off, you start off with $5,000 and you make $6,000 and $7,000 and then you make $100,000 and you have $100,000 in the bank. When you have $100,000 in the bank, you can start to buy carpet or whatever you're doing in bulk. I was buying it in bulk. We would buy $30,000, $40,000 at a time within our first 2 years. And I would have 30, 40 rolls of carpet sitting there at a $30,000 bill, but I saved $10,000. So I knew I would sell it all and make that $10,000. So yeah, we moved into that commercial property. It wasn't a big stretch. It was actually really cool to, to kind of go, okay, I'm back. I'm kind of back. I had the salon for years and now I'm back. And the next step for me on that was we didn't do too many changes. We did some advertising, which you and I can talk about, but maybe a year after I had started renting, I bought my first building. A year after that, I was gonna buy the building that I was renting in, and the guy was selling it to me for $220,000. And then when he knew I wanted to buy it, he upped it to $360,000. And I basically gave him the finger. And Michelle and I punched up on the MLS listing commercial properties in Hamilton. I found one and bought it the next day. It was I got it for $181,000.
So just let me get this straight. The guy had the building for sale for $220,000, but as soon as you wanted to buy it, it was up to $360,000. And it was a place that you were actually already renting from.
I was already there, and I really wanted the building because I loved it. I loved it because it was my first big place, and I really wanted it. It was on a main street, lots of traffic. 20,000 cars a day. You put a sign out front.
Good visibility,
Yeah, so I really did not want to lose it. I felt. But I was so pissed off that he would, hold me hostage like that. I was going to make a move anyways. I'm on a main street, but that was a serious main street. But $181,000. I'm finally back to where I'd lost my salon building, and now Michelle and I own our own, carpet store. I mean, it's massive. So, and we own it. We still own it to this day.
Excellent. So basically, things are going well, and you're, obviously doing. The business is doing well.
Yeah, I think we're 4 years in now.
Okay, so since then, in the last 4 years, you've written a #1 best-selling book about carpet.
I did, and I used it very strategically. It's probably something about this.
Yes.
I think it's 10 pages long.
Okay. It doesn't have to be a novel.
No, it doesn't. So basically, what I did was for television show I made 5 videos, something like this because we went to school together. The book's called 5 Ways to Save Money When Buying Carpet. I took those 5 ways, broke them down into 5 separate videos, and I pumped them out online, and then I turned that into a #1 best-selling book, and then called up City TV in Toronto and said, hey, listen, I got an #1 best-selling book. Can I come down and talk about carpet again? Get on the show and show the book and get more customers because more trust.
Yeah. That's probably the #1 strategy that any entrepreneur, business, author, expert, speaker can use right now. If you're looking to get your foot in the door, there's no faster way to get in the door, either on TV, on radio, or in with any particular business, than if you have a #1 best-selling book. So if you have the ability to put together a #1 best-selling book, if you don't, definitely, and you're interested, just leave some comments in the field. I'll get back to you. It's something that we do in the Authority Acceleration Coaching Program that we have, is we help take people into #1 best-selling authors. And not only that, but the strategy that you can use it for. And like Keith said, he used it to get into back on TV, and he strategically used it to draw more attention or attract more people through the internet, because he made a series of 5 videos. Those 5 videos he distributed around the internet world, which all talk about his #1 best-selling book, but the 5 specific things that are in the book. And he utilizes all that and leverage that to get back onto TV, where he's now looked at as the authority in his field. So it's a very specific strategy, and one of the main strategies that I employ in my business, as well as when I work with all of my private clients in the Authority Acceleration Coaching Program, is one of the things that we work on with them as well.
Nice. Nice.
So Keith, so you're number one best-selling author, you're back on TV, and you're reaching that $1 million threshold.
We are. I wanted to touch on something about TV that you and I were talking about earlier. I just wanted to kind of get you guys, to where we got the building and bought our own place and stuff. So one of the things that we use, Michelle got me on TV the first time because she had the connections, but you know what it really is? You got to call, you got to call, you got to call, you got to call, and then you got to call again. And then when they say no, you call again. That's right. Until they say yes. You bug until they say yes. So the second time I was on, I think it was for the bestseller, which was easy. I was already on, so they knew me. I was safe. Yeah. And then I had the bestseller, and it was something else to talk about. And I usually go on once a year. I'm going to try to go on the next couple of months again. And then from that, Michelle and I were looking for another angle that we could use for leverage. And we were looking for a TV show. And we were looking for like Homes on, one of the construction ones, Homes on Homes, yeah. Brian Baumler. I think we were looking at Love It or List It. And Michelle basically got on the phone and started calling all of them and emailing them all of them and saying, listen, we're a carpet company. We'd love to provide carpet services to you. And we'd love to be on your show. Now, we were very lucky that a lot of those shows were filmed in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Yeah. Mike Holmes, Homes on Homes was filmed there. Love It or List It was filmed there. Brian Baumler's filmed there because Canada is Hollywood of the North, right? Vancouver and Toronto. So we were very lucky. We're only an hour away from Toronto. And Michelle basically called up Love It or List It, and they were between carpet installers. It was timing. It was really that simple. And then it was all, Michelle just made a call, and basically we're on set, I don't know, maybe a week later doing the first episode. And then usually you only do one episode, and then they get someone else, and then they get someone else, and they get someone else. And we begged and pleaded to kind of stay with them and be their main person on the television show. And so we were on there for 2 years, maybe a year and a half. So I did about maybe 20 episodes, and I'm on camera every episode. Not really speaking, but you'll see me installing carpet or whatever. And at the end of the show, they would put, direct carpet. And then what we used from that, we put that on our shirts. We put that on our vans. We put that on our website as seen on Love It or List It. And that authority really, really helped get us more clients because they trust you. You're, building trust in any kind of business is everything. We all sell something. You're selling real estate, but so's the other guy. I'm selling carpet, but so's 20 other guys, and someone else is doing roofing. But who are you going to get it done by?
Yeah, you have to be able to get people to know you first, then they have to like you, and then they have to trust you. So how are you actually going to make that happen? So there's strategies that an entrepreneur or business person can employ that will actually take you through that process rather quickly if you actually know the right strategies. And becoming a best-selling author is one of them. Podcasting, having your own TV show or having your own show, being on TV on multiple occasions. I've had the occasion of being on TV for 2 different businesses, my real estate business, and prior to that I owned another business. I was on TV several times, and I anticipate for the Authority Acceleration Coach before the end of this year to be on TV as well. So, and it's definitely not going to hurt that I'm bringing into the studio a local TV personality who is transitioned into being a radio personality. So she's going to actually come on in the future later on in September and actually talk about the things that an entrepreneur should know when it comes to creating their own podcast show or doing their own live show, tips for being on camera or tips for doing your podcast from an industry perspective that most entrepreneurs don't have. So doing that, I will leverage that into potentially getting on her show and getting back on TV, a TV show. So it's a foot in the door strategy, right?
For sure.
And you definitely need to have those strategies as an entrepreneur. And you need to know the strategies, you need to know how to execute them in such a way. It's really, a lot of it's about leverage. Finding people of influence, leveraging off them to help build and grow your business as well. So you did the show, created more authority, the money's rolling in, you're about to break $1 million. Hopefully you'll do that this year, if not next year for sure.
Working on, I mean, Michelle's really in control of that one.
Yeah.
She's become really, really good at her craft. We work through, she's become really, really good at her craft. I mean, you know what it is? She's genuine with people. You got to remember now, I'm not selling, I'm installing, and I'm running the other crews that we have, and I'm kind of running, I'm running the back. I'm running behind the scenes kind of stuff. The carpet, cutting the carpet, getting the guys loaded in the morning, picking up the underpad, doing all the stuff that that I don't really want to do. But someone's got to do it, and I don't want to spend. I don't want to spend 30 grand on a guy to sit in the back and read magazines all day when I could do it in 10 minutes and it's done. So we chose not to do that. So, but where we're trying to now take this is I think this year will be high 8s. We could hit high 9s, and to try to get $1 million a year, that's a tough one. That's $4,000 in sales per day. Now that's not including Saturday and Sunday. You get about you're going to take 104 days off a year for Saturday, Sunday, 52 weeks, right? So you only have so many working days, and to make $1 million gross a year, you have to sell $4,000 worth of product a day. That's really what it breaks down to. And we're around. Sometimes we can be 1,500 a day, but sometimes we can be 5,000 a day. So we are up and down, and it's close. It's close, and if anybody can do it, Michelle will do it.
Definitely. I have faith in her as well. So that's what's in store for the carpet business. But what's next in Keith's journey, Keith and Michelle's journey as far as the entrepreneurship? You're going to continue with the carpet business, but I hear that you have a new podcast coming out, and you're working on a new rock video.
I am working on those two things. It's, Michelle and I just recently bought a cottage up in Muskoka, so we've been spending a lot of time there. We need downtime. Michelle's working to make the numbers that we're at. Michelle and I are a 2-man crew. We have other installers and we have a couple employees, but we're kind of doing it all. And now the next step is to kind of, hire a front desk girl and hire people, and that when you hire people, you got to make more money because then your profit comes down. So these are some important things for us. But when we want to decompress, we go to the cottage and we hang out and we bring the dog and have fun. But I had a pretty successful podcast that you were on, Instant Authority Expert, where I interview business professionals such as you're doing with me, but I do it only by audio. And I had the Rock Nation Incorporated podcast where I interview rock stars and talk about their entrepreneurial journey, because I believe, like I said before, they're both one. I believe that whatever it takes to become a rock star is the same what it takes to become a successful businessman. I believe it's the same energy, same kind of, you got to do it. It takes that kind of oomph, right? Yeah. So I find the two very compatible. So I have the two podcasts. So I'm not really doing a lot of Rock Nation podcasts anymore. But and I'm not doing Instant Authority podcast anymore. But I missed it, and I have a new kind of direction I want to go. So for season 2 of Instant Authority Expert, which will start in probably October, it's going to be, instead of random entrepreneur here, entrepreneur there, I'm going to more concentrate on what Michelle and I are in, and we're in the carpet business, we're in the trades. That's right. So we're going to kind of, sometimes in business they say, don't try to be, everything to everyone. Try to be, one person to a certain, niche, niche down. So niche, for sure. So I am working more or less, I'm going to be interviewing people that are in my circle of trades. And that means, flooring owners, roofing companies, electrical companies, plumbing companies, people that go into your house and do a service-orientated businesses. And what we're going to be talking about is, how you're using your TV advertisements. You paid $10,000 to get 100 commercials. How are they transitioning into sales for you? How are you using Google AdWords? One thing that we use really well is we use Google Review. I mean, we have 30 plus reviews on Google, which is very difficult to get in the trade business. And everyone is a positive review. It's people say, amazing. Michelle's great. Keith's great. Amazing.
Are you guys soliciting people to do that, or they're just doing it on their own? or both?
Hell yeah! Of course, I'm still listening.
Okay.
Come on, John. We're working it, but no. We did in the beginning. We would we would say, listen, if you like what you see, we would give them a sheet on how to get on Google, because if you don't have a Google account, you can't write a Google review. Sometimes it's a little bit of a pain in the butt. That's why getting reviews can be difficult. So we would walk them through it, and if they were happy with the service, would they leave us a review? We never asked for a good review. They could have said bad, medium, whatever.
Leave a review.
Leave a review. And what happened was we got a lot of 5-star reviews over time. I think we're at 33 right now. And trust me, that's 2 years, and 2 years of work. When Michelle and I sat down and said, why don't we try Google review? I think someone put one up just to do it. And I was like, oh, that's nice. Because when you do Google AdWord, it comes up in your, when they punch up carpet, all of a sudden they punch up carpet, it says 33 reviews for direct carpet. And it says, 4 for, Johnny's carpet. And they're like, I'm going to the 33.
Since most people use Google for their search engine, using Google AdWords, being on Google Review, having videos on YouTube, which Google owns, doing all of that stuff, being on Google Local, is a huge strategy that a lot of businesses just don't have a clue about.
No.
And that is going to generate and drive you more traffic, more leads, more opportunity, which translates into more business, more money.
It really has worked very well for us. I would say that the magic of Michelle's personality, she really takes care of people when she's selling. She doesn't sell to sell. She actually takes care of people, and that is genuine. And the genuine with the reviews, they go hand in hand, and we just kill it. We just kill it.
It's more on the customer service side. Well, we're running short on time here, Keith.
Yes,
but
sir.
One last thing. Why don't you just you were telling me a little bit about your new rock video that you're putting together, hopefully before the end of this year. Why don't you just tell the viewers just a little bit about what they can expect from your band's new video?
Sure. So the band is Symphony Grind, and we're going to go in the studio and do a song called Break Me Down. I wrote it a few years ago about Paul Watson, the co-founder of Greenpeace. He does the show Whale Wars. Yeah. And, you can make all the money in the world that you want, but you know what I want to do? I want to do a little charity stuff, and we are going to do the song Break Me Down, all about him and how he fights for, the rights of ecology and the whales. And we're going to mix in a bunch of stuff of him, a bunch of stuff of us, and we're going to put that out, and we're going to put it on iTunes, and we're going to sell it for, a higher amount, so that all that money goes to seashepherd.com.
Awesome. That's a great cause.
Yes,
I watched
sir.
that show lots when I had the ability to actually watch it, and it's a tragedy what's going on over Asia and some of those places with regards to the whales. So it's definitely
eating the whales.
Definitely a good cause. So all the power to you, man. I look forward to actually getting a link as soon as that's up. Just send me a link. I'll definitely buy it off iTunes. But I want to thank you for your time, Keith. It was such a pleasure again. I look forward to actually us getting together at the next gathering at the next hotel bar, pound back a couple pops, and
sounds good.
We'll catch up for sure. So thanks again, Keith. You guys just stick with me. We're just going to do a quick transition. I'll be back in a sec to close out the show. Thanks, Keith.
Thanks, John.
Take care. Well, that wraps up this episode number 3 of the John A. McCabe Show. Be sure to like, share, and leave your comments about what you liked about today's show, or if you have any questions for Keith and I, that we'll be glad to answer them. We'll answer the questions right here on Facebook. I want to personally thank Keith for joining me on the show today, getting into the journey, the struggles behind the scenes that people don't normally see when they see a successful entrepreneur. Now remember, every true entrepreneur goes through many of the same challenges. What separates us true entrepreneurs is our ability to get knocked down, brush ourselves off, come at the challenge a different way, but keep going. You need to have focus, consistent persistence on a regular basis if you're going to achieve what you truly want to achieve as an entrepreneur. As Joe Dirt says, you got to keep on keeping on, and it can't be more true than the life of an entrepreneur. Lastly, I want to thank today's sponsor, the Authority Accelerating Coaching Program, where businesses, entrepreneurs, authors, expert speakers get help to build their platform, their brand, their exposure, and their business. For more information, to see if you're an actual candidate for the program, just send me a direct message through Facebook or send me an email at john@johnamccabe.com. And so that's the show for today. Now remember to like, share, comment on the show, and we'll definitely comment back. We'll get back to you. And I'd also like to thank Margaret for her assistance running the computer over the past couple of weeks. It just makes things a lot easier for me. Again, thanks for watching the show, and I'll definitely see you on the next show.